The sun had barely risen when Daniel arrived at the outskirts of the valley, where the new state-of-the-art pomegranate factory stood like a red jewel against the dusty landscape. He had traveled from another city as part of an international food technology delegation, eager to study how one of the world's most ancient fruits was now being processed with cutting-edge innovation. From outside, the factory looked nothing like the grimy industrial buildings he had visited in the past. Its walls were coated with reflective panels, and the entrance was lined with pomegranate saplings that gave the place an oddly inviting atmosphere. The automatic doors slid open silently as Daniel stepped inside, greeted by a burst of cold, sterilized air. A young engineer named Aisha met him in the lobby. She wore a clean white lab coat, her hair tucked neatly under a safety cap. "Welcome, Daniel. Today you'll see how we turn a single fruit into juice, seeds, extracts, and even colorants, all without wasting a single gram." They began the tour in the receiving area, where trucks filled with crates of freshly harvested pomegranates arrived every few minutes. Workers scanned QR codes to log the origin, harvest time, and quality grade of each batch. "Traceability is everything," Aisha explained. "If something goes wrong, we can track a single fruit back to the exact tree it grew on." Daniel watched as crates were tipped onto conveyor belts. The fruits rolled forward into the first stage. Automated inspection, high-resolution cameras and AI-based sensors scanned each pomegranate from all angles, checking for bruises, size irregularities, or hidden cracks. The rejected ones slid gently into a separate lane for secondary uses like animal feed or fertilizer. Next came the washing tunnel. The sound of spinning brushes echoed through the hallway as the fruits passed through jets of filtered water and ultrasonic waves that removed dust and residue. "Our goal is zero tonation," Aisha said proudly. "We're dealing with a fruit full of delicate membranes and seeds. Cleanliness is everything." Daniel was already impressed. The level of precision, the harmony between machinery and human oversight, the sheer cleanliness. This was not just a factory. It felt like a futuristic laboratory dedicated to a fruit that had symbolized life and prosperity for thousands of years. "Now we come to the heart of the process," Aisha said as they stepped onto an elevated walkway overlooking the extraction hall. The entire floor vibrated softly with the coordinated rhythm of machinery. Below them, dozens of pomegranates were being mechanically opened, the ruby seeds arrows falling like gemstones onto stainless steel trays. Unlike traditional methods which crush the fruit and risk mixing bitter rind oils with the juice, this factory used a patented non-destructive opening system. Sharp rotating blades scanned each fruit's size and shape, adjusting their position to cut precisely along natural fault lines. The fruit opened cleanly, preserving the integrity of every arrow. Aisha pointed to one of the machines. "Those tiny lasers you see aren't for cutting. They map the internal structure. Every fruit is slightly different. We read it first, then open." The freed seeds traveled along another conveyor toward the vibrational separation unit, which shook away lingering membrane fragments. Workers in clean suits supervised the process, ensuring that no foreign material entered the next stage. The air smelled sweet, pure pomegranate aroma, with none of the bitterness Daniel was used to from homemade juicing. "Now watch this," Aisha said, leading him to a glass observation booth. Inside, pure arrows were poured into a cold-pressed juicer the size of a small car. The transformation was instant. The machine pressed the seeds with slow, controlled pressure, preventing heat buildup that could affect taste or nutrition. Ruby red juice flowed into sterilized pipes, gliding upward toward massive vacuum-sealed tanks. "We don't pasteurize by heat," Aisha explained. "We use high-pressure processing. It kills bacteria without destroying vitamins or antioxidants. The juice stays fresh for weeks." Daniel tasted a sample handed to him in a tiny lab cup. It was unlike anything he had ever tasted. Bright, tangy, alive. He nodded in amazement, and Aisha smiled knowingly. They continued the tour to the byproduct area, where leftover seed cores were separated for oil extraction. "Nothing is wasted," she said. "The oil goes to cosmetic companies. The peels become natural dyes or nutritional powders. Even the membranes turn into organic compost for local farms." Daniel scribbled notes furiously. He had expected efficiency, but not artistry. Every step seemed designed not just to maximize profit, but to honor the fruit itself. Aisha guided Daniel into the packaging wing, where the noise level suddenly dropped. This section was eerily quiet, compared to the extraction hall. A row of robotic arms moved with elegant precision, filling bottles with juice, sealing them, labeling them, and passing them onwards for inspection. "All of this is synchronized through one central command system," Aisha said. "Each arm knows exactly how much juice is in the tank, how many bottles are needed for each shipment, and what label version is required for each country's regulations." Daniel noticed screens showing real-time analytics, temperature, pH, viscosity, even antioxidant levels. "Quality control happens continuously," she continued. If something deviates by even a fraction, the entire line pauses automatically until a supervisor checks it. They entered a glass-sealed lab, where technicians examined random samples, under microscopes and spectrometers. Every bottle was tested for purity, microbial safety and color stability. One scientist held a vial up to the light, and nodded approvingly. "This batch is perfect," she said without looking up. From there Ayesha walked him toward the warehouse section. Dozens of autonomous forklifts buzzed around, lifting heavy pallets and placing them with flawless accuracy in temperature-regulated storage zone. "Even our warehouse learns from previous patterns," she said. "It predicts which products will ship first, and rearranges stock overnight." Daniel was struck by how few humans were needed for heavy labor. Instead, most workers monitored. As the tour drew to a close, Ayesha invited Daniel to the Employee Recreation Center, a surprising addition to a factory tour. Inside was a library, a gym, and even a small cafe where workers sat sipping pomegranate tea. "You've seen the machines," she said softly. "Now see why the factory really works." Daniel sat with her at a corner table as she explained that most employees came from nearby villages. Before the factory opened, many struggled with irregular farm income. Now they had stable salaries, health insurance, and opportunities for technical training. "We don't just process fruit," Ayesha said. "We build futures." She introduced him to an older worker named Rahman, who supervised the washing tunnel. "My daughter studies engineering," Rahman said proudly. "I never thought I'd work in a place where machines teach me new things every day." Another young woman, Sana, worked in the AI inspection unit. "People think factories are dirty," she said, "but look around. We operate cleaner than hospitals. My job is to train the vision software. It's like raising a very smart child." Daniel realized the factory wasn't just a technological marvel. It was a community center disguised as an industrial building. The pomegranates were merely the beginning. Ayesha walked him outside to a rooftop garden overlooking orchards stretching to the horizon. Solar panels glinted in the sunlight. Workers rested on benches, chatting softly. "This garden is for our team," she said. "Every seed of this factory, the technology, the processes, the people is interconnected." As Daniel stood watching the orchards, he felt a profound respect for the fruit he had always taken for granted. The journey from tree to bottle was far more complex, more precise, and more human than he had imagined. Before he left, Ayesha handed him a chilled glass bottle filled with fresh juice. "Take this as a memory," she said. "Not of the machinery, but of the people who make all this possible." Daniel nodded. He had come to study a factory, but he was leaving with a deeper understanding of innovation where tradition, technology, and human dignity worked side by side. The pomegranate factory was modern, yes, but at its core it was timeless.